Around the Confederation. I'm your host for the evening, Moose. And as always, that intro will never, ever, ever be fixed. Before we get started, please remember, the views and opinions expressed in this broadcast are not necessarily the views and opinions of the SCV, its GEC, nor any divisions, brigade, camps, or any other subsidiaries. How is everybody doing in Dixie land tonight? We got a great show for you planned. As you have read, hopefully, from the promotion that you shared. We will have Jude from Monuments Across Dixie on later, talk about, of course, Monuments Across Dixie and what his camp is doing, which I'm very interested in both. So for probably the first time, I think, in the show's history, when we get to a part of the news, we'll have a member of the camp on to talk about it. So I'm looking forward to that. Cannot wait to get into news. Can't wait to get into my special announcement that I have planned very soon. I would stay tuned for that announcement. It has some groundbreaking announcement for SCV chat tonight. Yes, and Jude is holding up in the backstage room in General Beauregard's defense, which will be an ad break here in a short bit. We got a couple. We have a new sponsor tonight too, so we're going to give them a shout out in a bit. Before we get started, let us give our shout out to. Let me bring up our first person of the night, if I can get it pulled up. The joys of being a host and a producer of the show just never fail me. The Moose Fact of the Week, sponsored by 1175 Firearms. Mooses like trucks, and they are very nocturnal animals. That is going to be your yeah, I can see you, Jude. That is our Moose Fact for the evening, sponsored by 1175 Firearms, Carl Jones. Again, howdy, everybody. Good evening, Elliot. Past Commander-in-Chief, the legend, Paul Gramlin Jr. is in the chat. Corey's in the chat. Our Chief of Heritage Operations, Mr. Ron Kennedy, is in the chat. Good to see you too, Mr. Ron. My email has been flooded with Mississippi Division stuff this week, so I'm just now seeing your email. I will send you what you asked for after the show. Speaking of the legend Paul Gramlin Jr., for those who don't know, Miss Linda, Gigi, the SCV's mother/grandmother, she is back in the hospital. She is doing better from what I have heard, but that does not mean to stop praying. Please continue to pray for Gigi. She is just the sweetest person, and she is the nicest person I know. She's always bringing me a joy and a smile in the chat. I miss her so much and cannot wait to see her, at least via the chat. And, of course, I definitely can't wait to see her in person soon, hopefully. She'll be going to rehab tomorrow. Great. We're going to wish the best of her here from SCV chat. And, of course, ask that all our chat heads please pray for Miss Linda. Gigi is just the best. And Look Around the Confederation. SCV chat and ACG chat is just not the same without her here. So let us pray for her and continue to lift up the family in prayers. All right, so I do have an announcement, but first we're going to get into a bit of the news. So let me go back to here. All right. And then we will have, just set it out. Wow, look at this. Lieutenant Commander-in-Chief Donnie Kennedy is headed out to the Northwest Pacific Division SCV meeting this weekend. That is cool. Tell Commander Donnie I wish him the best, and I hope our Lieutenant CIC has a great time over there. And please tell him to send us some news here at Look Around the Confederation, and you can email your news to scvyouthoutreach@gmail.com, and you'll be featured on the upcoming episode of Look Around the Confederation. Casey said, hey, Casey, it's been a while since I've been on here. How's everybody doing? Good, Casey. You couldn't have picked a better night to be back. We'll be getting into news momentarily. But at the end of the news is when a special, earth-shattering SCV announcement will be made. It is something that we have teased on the page recently. I've had a lot of questions about it, but you have to stay tuned till after the news. We'll give that, and then we will go back into Oh, Jason. Oh, why'd you have to do me like that? That threw me off my game. For those who don't know Jason on YouTube watching us, did you hear that Moose is a comedian? He is very amusing. Oh, Jason, that shouldn't have made me laugh the way it did. Oh, all right. Now let's get into some news and some events that we have coming up. Love seeing events. So first, history awaits you. Be there, Pleasant Hill, Louisiana, October 29th, 2022. There will be a monument rededication ceremony. Now, more news will be coming shortly. I will have to mess with our past Commander-in-Chief, Chuck McMichael, to see if there's any updates. Jason's trying to make me laugh in the chat again. But monument rededication ceremonies are very important, people. It is a strong slap in the face to everybody that is tearing down our monuments. So be there if you can. I know I will try my best to be there and cannot wait to be there. So October 29th, monument rededication ceremony, Pleasant Hill, Louisiana. History awaits you. Faversham, Army of Tennessee Councilman Carl Jones is in the chat. Good to see everybody. Good to see everybody. Next bit of news. Let's see here. All right, Captain John Rayburn Camp 452 will be hosting the first annual Battle of Scurum Creek in a couple weeks, or not a couple weeks, next weekend, if I'm not mistaken, if my math is not off, doing that off the top of my head, but you never know with me. There will be period schoolers, non-period vendors, food and entertainments, ladies' tea, and so much more. There is also, get this everybody, no reenactor fee. So that is one you definitely want to attend if you can be there. So please go check out the Battle of Scurum Creek. September 24th and September 25th. I hope to see very good pictures from that event coming up soon. On to the next bit of news. But yes, if you can be there, please be there. Reenactments are awesome. I always have a great time. I feel like I'm going camping. That's the feeling I get from that. Let's see here. Is Cousin Vinny in the chat yet? Oh, there he is. Cousin Vinny, my man. I was wondering if you have an update about the Enfield, North Carolina monument that was torn down. It's about that part of the day in the news. Is going up and down doing blockade running. Moose is not. Moose is going to a Mississippi SCV meeting this weekend. Hence why Moose is in a vehicle. He has to get down to southern or central Mississippi. So that is what Moose is doing. I'm going to wait on that response for a minute. For those who do not know, the Enfield, North Carolina Confederate Monument was not just taken down. It was not just moved and put into storage. It was not even given to an SCV camp that would honor it. They didn't even put a tarp over it. No. They did something even worse than that. They bulldozed it down. We have been covering the news on this every week. We have kind of been we kind of accidentally hired Cousin Vinny to do it for us. Cousin Vinny has had his ear on the ground for us and has really helped me out when there's days I can't be on my phone for a bit to look up this information. Let's see here. As it currently stands, Cousin Vinny says the mayor who paid and used his personal money to bulldoze this monument is still being investigated and is being pinned. It was all on the mayor, apparently. He's the one that destroyed it, not the council of the city. And he thinks he's above the law. And so we got to show him that no one is above the law in this nation. And show him what happens when you mess with a veterans monument. Because that's the thing, folks. You know, all veteran monuments are important, but this was not just a Confederate monument. This was a World War I, World War II, Vietnam, Gulf War monument. It was a monument to many veterans in that town that he just tore down without remorse and without hesitation, and was egotistical enough to live stream it on his political Facebook, thinking that this would buy him votes. He is going to learn very quickly that you do not disrespect veterans in the South. That's just something you do not do. So thank you, Cousin Vinny, for the update. Ah, ha, 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 ha. The mayor has also got a strike on his Facebook page. Something I wasn't expecting from Facebook, considering all they do is give me strikes, but I'm happy to see that they did it. For those who do not know, I have just regained access to my SCV Instagram after posting a picture of a battle flag. Please note, it's my SCV Instagram, so 90% of my stuff have battle flags in them, but Instagram decided to suspend me from my account for a week. So that's a lovely story for another time. Yeah, it's so sad that that was going to get him some extra votes, and people are going to look at him like a whole new person. And the thing is, I go back and forth on it. I agree with past Commander in Chief Paul Gramlin Jr. If you're not going to appreciate the monument, give it to someone that will, namely SCV members, UDC, OCR, or really anybody. I mean, we don't have the rights to respect Confederate veterans, so we don't own that. So that could be given to anybody. So the fact that they didn't even try to relocate it, which I hate, but at least it is not tearing it down in destruction, putting a tarp over it, which is, in my opinion, disrespectful, or keeping it in storage so it'll never see the light of day. They had the dishonor to tear it down, which is the worst thing, along with defacing it with spray paint and all that stuff that happened. Mr. Sean McFall sent stars. Thank you, Mr. Sean. My Facebook part of my screen is out, so I didn't see that. So thank you for telling me. Maybe I can pull it up now. Let's see here. Yes, we must be prepared to accept them. We do need to show people that. Second. Trying to make sure I get everything. All right, thank you, Mr. Sean. I'm trying to get my Facebook side of my screen set up. If for some reason it hasn't been working of late. But yes, past Commander-in-Chief Paul Gramlin Jr. is exactly correct. You know why? We definitely don't want to see them moved. If they are going to be moved, they need to be sent to a place where they will still be honoring the either region, race, or whatever Confederate veteran group they are entitled to. Like, for example, the one in Lafayette County, Oxford, Mississippi. It's dedicated to the men of that county. They need to stay in that county. So we do need to accept these if they're going to be moved, because as an organization, it is on us to take care, defend, and to put these monuments in a good home if necessary. Most monuments were put up by the daughters. So no, and most of them, if not the majority of them, were given to these counties, given to these parks, given to the government. Because in the South at the time, who would have thought that you wouldn't accept a monument to your Confederate veterans? I mean, it's mind-blowing still to this day that people are trying to continuously attack it. Back then, it was just unthought of. Even unthought of back in the 80s and the 90s, I would say that people would still be overly shocked if something happened to a Confederate monument. That's really something that hasn't come up until this recent decade. But that's also why a lot of SCV camps now are pushing to own the land and to own the monument itself that they're putting up, so we don't have to face this issue down the road. even though I know we will win back the narrative, I know the culture around us will change in the South at least, and we can get back and show people that the Confederate veteran was a righteous, God-fearing man. It's still better safe than sorry these days. And for the rest of these days, as the good Lord gives us this time on earth. But continuing off that, we still got a bit of news to cover. Let me scroll down. Let me thank Cousin Benny real quick for giving us that update. And thank you, Paul Gramblin Jr., for always having my back in that chat, man. He added a very interesting point to that conversation that we need to discuss. Yes, they take them down and we will put them back up. That is one of my favorite sayings of all time. Monuments Across Dixie, which, again, we'll be talking about y'all's organization very soon, and I'm very happy to. One of my favorite things in this life that the Lord has blessed me with is seeing new monuments go up. There's just something about it in my heart. You know, there's multiple ways you can honor your Confederate veterans or Confederate veterans in general, not just yours, but everybody's, because our heritage expands to so many Southern people that there's so many ways you can do it. It's just something special to monuments about me. I can't explain it. Maybe it has something to do with my childhood. Who knows? Attacking monuments is nothing more than yes. Carl Jones, everybody, the SCV chat resident historian, and basically probably the smartest guy that we've ever had on the show. Definitely one of them, if we had a list. And I can't say it any much better than he can. So thank you, Carl. Going on to Beauvoir, though, some Beauvoir news. Beauvoir is proud to present its 36th annual Fall Muster event. Come enjoy the entertainment of the battles on Saturday and Sunday at 2 p.m. There will be a ladies' tea on Saturday, October 15th at 10 a.m., open to the public. If you have a period dress, we encourage you to wear it. Period vendors' music will be provided by the 5th Alabama Regimental Band. Drilled scrimmages and living history camp expositions, and so much more. This will be great for the whole family. Beauvoir, the last home of the only Confederate president, Jefferson Davis. Beauvoir's Fall Muster event is their biggest fundraiser of the year. It does so much. This is much more. Sounds more shady. What? Jude, are you on the Monuments Across Dixie Facebook page commenting? Jude, I can see you remember that. No, okay, yeah, I figured. All right, but going back to Fall Muster, you should be a car salesman. I guess I should at this rate, shouldn't I? But Beauvoir, the last home of the President Jeff Davis, Fall Muster is their biggest event, their biggest fundraiser, and again, people, while it's a national land or a national historical marker for Mississippi and the United States, with the rules they put on the Beauvoir people to keep the house restored and everything cost a lot of money. And this is one of their biggest events, so make sure you go out and support this event if you can. And if not, make sure you go to Beauvoir. It is beautiful. It is owned by the United Mississippi Divisions of the Sons of Confederate Veterans. So can't get any cooler than that. We own that. So go support Beauvoir if you can. Speaking of monuments, I can't wait to see the Tejano Monument go up and the re-erection of the Arkansas Monument in Bentonville. Wow, okay, that's good news. I didn't know if it was going back up. But yes, I'm very happy to see the Tejano Monument go up. I hope to be there. Let's see here. All right, going on to a bit more news. The Captain J.J. Dickerson Camp 1387's Lee Jackson Southern Heritage Celebration will be on January 7th, 2023 at 6 p.m. Their guest speaker will be none other than our Commander-in-Chief, Jason Bo Shears. Lee Jackson banquets in this organization are something to behold. I don't think I've ever seen a boring or a bad one. They're always great, and it's just a moment to celebrate two of the biggest names to come out of the war, two of probably some of the greatest men to come out of the war, and to shine. And to Lee and Jackson, man, I mean, that's all you have to say to sell that event. So if you can be there for that event, please do. Let's see here, looking in the chat. Mr. Sean, I think you posted something in the chat about the Florida MC. Could you repost that again? I didn't get to see it. Thank you for the shout out. Alamo City Guards Camp. That wasn't a shout out. Just wait till a bit later in the show. So I will, while I'm waiting on Mr. Sean to post that, make sure, of course, if you can, please attend that event. The Florida Mechanized Cavalry event is this weekend. Wait, my eyes are messing up on me. Yeah, kickstands open up at 10 a.m. outside of Melbourne. Ooh, I'm going to let the chat heads read that one. I do not want to mess that up. We all know how I do with words that surprise me, especially when my eyes aren't working with me tonight. All right. So, going on to the rest of the news. Let's see here. All right, we're almost done with the news, everybody. The Gainesville Volunteers Camp are selling these official Confederate Veteran Reunion stamps for $5. It, of course, helps the cause, it helps the camp, and they can continue to do their great things that they do. They accept Venmo and mail. So that's how I paid. I did it with Venmo. Please, if you can, support them. Their stamps are amazing. I have one at the house. I wish I would have brought it now. That is my fault, but it is amazing. Stamps look great. They're going in my SCV office, if you will, in Oxford, and I cannot wait to show them to y'all in a bit. Hopefully the next episode. Let's see here. All right. We are winding down on the news. See here. Good to see you. I was reading that and didn't realize that was our Commander-in-Chief. That's how long of a day I've had in the sun. Our Commander-in-Chief, Jason Bo Shears, good seeing you and Forrest Estos this past Thursday. Thank you for the generous donation. Look forward to seeing you all this weekend. Look forward to seeing you too, Commander. It's always an honor to go up to Elm Springs. For those who do not know, my father is the historian-in-chief of this great organization, and he wanted to kick it off with a ball. He found these awesome and almost like perfect condition trousers worn by a veteran, and he donated them to the museum. And I was just there for the ride. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I got to go up there and listen to these people talk, big boy talks, and I'm trying not to sneeze if you're wondering what this facial expression is. It was a great time. I always enjoy seeing my father, Jason Bo Shears. Always love seeing Adam, and of course AOT Commander Jimmy Hill. It was great seeing y'all. Y'all have done fantastic work in the museum. If you have not seen the museum, oh my gosh, please go. Luckily, Adam will be coming on in not next week, but the week after that. It's a Monday show to talk about the Hearth and Home episode about the museum. Trust me, you need to go to the museum. It is looking fantastic. All right. This is sent by my friend Kenny Ramsey, Army of Northern Virginia Councilman. The Captain David Williams Camp and the Holly Shelter Volunteers Camp 2263 Civil War Trivia Night will be Thursday, September 22nd at 6 p.m. It will be in Bandana's Restaurant. Yeah, Bandana's Restaurant in North Carolina. Again, if you can attend these events, please do. I cannot wait. Trivia nights, I don't know why. I'm sorry, something went like over my head and hit me in the back of the head. But trivia nights are always fun. We have them on the chat here all the time. And of course, it promotes the brotherhood in this organization that we all have, and I wish would shine a bit more. But please, if you are in the North Carolina region, or if you're just passing through, please make sure to check that event out. I'm sure it's going to be a blast, and I'm looking forward to the Army of Northern Virginia councilman, if he's watching, sending me pictures of the event. Thank you, Mr. Kenny. Oh, I hope he is watching via replay later and he gets that one. You are. Yeah, Mr. Kenny's already in the chat. I hope to see some pictures, Mr. Kenny. Thank you for sending that in, by the way. I hope I did it justice. And Christian Lee is right, everybody. Happy Hispanic Heritage Month. Soon the SCV will announce its Confederate Hispanic Heritage Month. Of course, I'm looking forward to it. We have some great episodes planned for this special month for us. We have Mr. Richard Garcia coming on soon. We have the ACG chat doing something special. And, of course, we have last week's episode with Christian Lee talking about the Tejano Monument the Alamo City Guards Camp is putting up. Speaking of which, if you have not, please check out this link that is about to be in the chat. And that was published at the beginning of the episode. To go support the Tejano Confederate Monument that the Alamo City Guards Camp is putting up. Great project that is way past time to be done, people. It is time now to start. And so, please go check out the AlamoCityGuards.com. And, Jason Boshiers, our Commander-in-Chief, said it here, folks. October will be Confederate Hispanic Heritage Month. Proclamation will be coming soon. We'll, of course, be promoting that on the page. Mr. Garcia will be coming on to talk about Confederate Hispanic Heritage. We'll replay that episode with Christian Lee, and I'm sure ACG Chat will have a phenomenal episode planned as well. Again, people, it is way past time that we get a monument up to the Tejano Confederate veterans. They deserve it. They only have a plaque that says, if I'm not mistaken, Christian, Hispanic veterans served on the Union and Confederate side of the war. That's it. That's all they have is a little plaque with like a sentence. So it's way past time that they get this monument. So please go support them if you can. Of course, we'll probably have Christian on again sometime in October to talk about it. I don't know. I'll mess with Christian about that later. All right. Let's see the next bit of news. Let's see. They had a special message they wanted me to say. All right, there it is. Morgan on the Rim Civil War reenactment will be October 28th, the 29th, and the 30th in Tennessee. Let's see here. They are looking for a General Robert E. Lee reenactor for this event. It is located about 30 miles north of Nashville, Tennessee. So if you can be at this event, please be there. And, of course, if you're a General Robert E. Lee reenactor, please reach out to them. I bet they would love to have you. Let's see here. Skirmishes will be Saturday and Sunday at 1:30 p.m., and there will be food and all kinds of activities, including period photography, talking with soldiers and civilians, and seeing and handling the equipment of the I'm guessing of the going to the settlers. Okay. And there's also will be a school day Friday, free for all students from 1 to 4:30 p.m. Wow, that's an event and a half. If you are close to Tennessee that week, I would be there. it looks like it's going to be awesome. Of course, seeing a school day is awesome. Kids getting to enjoy that reenacting. And for them, it's so much cooler because I remember when I was a kid seeing reenactors. It just blows your mind seeing these great guys dressing out, dealing with the heat, dealing with a bunch of kids that, because I remember this because I was those kids that are just running around and all over the place. So please, if you can, go support them. Take your kids Friday, first off. That is going to be awesome. Of course, I'm sure there'll be so many kids there, so they will not feel alone. Johnny says he is Hispanic and he hopes to catch up for y'all. I'm sorry, Johnny. To catch y'all's special event / program, Johnny. We are happy to have you here, brother. I hope you can. I hope you get to see what the Alamo City Guards Camp is trying to do to honor that heritage. Hear Mr. Garcia's talk. And, of course, enjoy that the SCV is giving you guys a month, man. That is special. That is unique to y'all, and that's something no one can take away from y'all. So enjoy it. Find a way to celebrate it. And I hope to see you on the page soon. Our Chief of Heritage Operations, Mr. Ron Kennedy, says he's sorry he's been on the phone dealing with folks trying to save a Confederate monument in Virginia, Arlington, Virginia. Wow. Okay, thank you, Mr. Ron. Let us know if there's any way we can help. Mr. Sean says, for anybody looking for a Robert E. Lee reenactor, hit up Mr. Thomas Jesse. All right. Let's All right. See here. There's a Living History weekend on October 1st and the 2nd of 2022 in Laurel Hill. I'm sorry, my eyes in cursive do not go well together, so I'm trying my best to read this. It will be in Virginia. Opens at 9 a.m. Free parking. Admissions is $8 a person. 12 and under is free. Food and special vendors will be available. You can meet Civil War generals, enjoy tea, Civil War settlers, and Saturday night dance. That is going to be a fun event. Again, if you are in that area, please do. I will post on the page as always afterwards because my eyes are just shot at this point. For those who do not know, I'm basically blind as a bat for someone so young of my age. And sometimes it can come back to bite me. For the people who asked me to post that, if you could send me a short write-up, I sent you a message asking for one, but the event's a bit off. So if you could send me a short write-up, please, at scvyouthoutreach@gmail.com. That way I don't have to strain my eyes and it will flow a bit better. That'd be much appreciated. Thank you. Hope to see you too, and many thanks. Thank you, Johnny. All right. Whew. We're almost through the news. I can see Jude back there just like praying. All right. Let's see here. If there's some news. All right. Ashby Camp, 1567 member Jason Lloyd took part in the 160th anniversary of the Battle of Second Manassas, portraying Company H, Page Gray's 23rd Virginia Infantry, part of the Stonewall Brigade. Let's see here. Awesome. I know that y'all had a great time there. Looks like that y'all did a great job. Look at those men in uniforms, boys. Look at them doing what they love and inspiring, hopefully, the next generation of reenactors are historians. That's what I love about reenacting. Is just such an inspiration. It feels like you're there. Same thing with monuments. Same thing with everything. Nothing's more Confederate than the other. But it is definitely cool to see. I love seeing it. But continuing on with member Mr. Jason, that Saturday, Jason also paid respects to the Confederate dead at Groveton. And here is a good picture of that. Jason had 4 ancestors that fought at the Battle of Second Manassas in the 2nd and 5th Virginia Infantry of the Stonewall Brigade. John D. Lloyd, Lewis H. Wood, Company C and I, the 2nd Virginia Infantry. Let's see here before that gets cut off. Willam H. Hood Company, A, 5th Virginia Infantry, and Charles D. Cattleman, Company C, 2nd Virginia Infantry, was wounded during the action at Browner's Farm and died of his wounds a month later. The place of his burial is unknown. And folks, that is why monuments are so important. For the men that didn't make it home, that is their stone. That is a place that their family went to mourn, and so much more. So always pay respects to monuments, and of course, thank a reenactor when you can, because sometimes let me tell you, I started getting into reenacting again recently. It is hot, and I'm someone that wears jeans and jackets all the time. So when I say it's hot, it's hot. So thank them. The people that do the living history is phenomenal. But I think Jason says he has calls and emails. He'll be talking to you tomorrow. I don't know if that's for me, but if it is, you have my number. We do a living history in Arkansas, arresting members of the pro-Union Peace Society. I got to put that up there, Corey. Thank you for that. Oh, that's phenomenal. All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for staying for the news. We're about to have our special guest, Monuments Across Dixie Representative Jude. I'm just going to call him Jude because that's all he put in his name, and I'm going to mess with him about that for the rest of the evening. I just want to let you know that, Jude. Since your name is Jude Across Dixie on the screen, I'm going to give you a bit of crap for that. So, before we get started, though, into Jude's talk, let me check the chat real quick. I'm sorry, my allergies have gotten me today. I was training Allie outside, and apparently Fall and I aren't having a good time together. But it's time for the special announcement. So for a couple days now, well, actually, real quick, because we do have a sponsor we need to talk about. 1 minute. Also trying not to sneeze, but also trying to find the link for the sponsor. Ooh. I'm having the time of my life over here. All right. So tonight's special announcement is sponsored by Southern Flags and Quilts. Southern Flags and Quilts is a small company run out of Alabama. Their link is in the chat. They have done some fantastic work, especially doing something for us here at SCV Chat, which we want to thank them for and give them some sponsorship time. And so please, if you need a flag, if you need a quilt, contact Southern Flags and Quilts. Hands-on people, they work hard. They do some great stuff. The stuff they're sending us looks phenomenal. I cannot wait to show it to you, chat heads. And that'll probably be some great promotion there. But here's some of their work that they have done. Of course, I am always a fan of the Mississippi flag, so there's one. And we're just going to run through a couple of these flags that they've worked on. Because, I mean, look at the quality of these flags, people. It is phenomenal. And, I mean, just beautiful, too. Beautiful work, professional, Southern people that are making these flags, too. That's something important. You know, a lot of the things we get, you know, today are made by either Yankees or people that don't even live in the United States. So the fact that we have some good Southern people doing this flag, you need to go support them. So go support Southern Flags and Quilts. A link in the chat. And they're also the sponsor of tonight's special announcement that will be happening soon. Do they do custom flags? Corey, you'll have to ask them. They're very fair, and if they can do it, they'll do it. They did a custom flag for us. I'll put it like that. But it was very few modifications from a just regular battle flag. So I've seen. Oh, look at this! A recommendation by our commander-in-chief. I've seen several of the flags. They are accurate, and have great workmanship. So that is something that is awesome right there. That's not every sponsor gets that. So I hope you go support our great friends at Southern Flags and Quilts, the sponsor of tonight's special announcement. So without further ado, I'm going to get into the special announcement. And then we'll bring our guest on that's like hopped up on Mountain Dew. He'll get that reference. But nope, that's not it. Let's go down to here. So for a couple days now, y'all have probably seen these pop up all throughout the chat page. And we've had a lot of questions. What this means. Let's see here. I think I'm just going to delete that spam troll comment, I think. All right, so this picture's been popping up a lot recently. And a lot of people have been asking what this means. And it does affect the future of SCV chat in a big way. Let's see here. Yeah, it's a very beautiful flag. Thank you. But, you know, beside that, a lot of people have been asking me what that means. Because, you know, original flag doesn't have that 100 on it. So what could it mean? Is Moose giving us a secret message? Well, yes, Moose is. To put it plain and simple, yes, I was. So I've been doing that for a special type of promotion because something special is coming here to SCV Chat. And without further ado, I'm going to give a quick little video trailer for it. I would turn down your volume a bit. It might be a bit loud. I haven't got to test it as much as I would like. But without further ado, here is the special announcement. That is right, everybody. The traditional humongous milestone in television dating back to the 1950s, the 100th episode, is coming to SCV Chat on October 17th, 7 p.m. Confederate Standard Time. Your Monday edition of SCV Chat will be the official 100th episode. 100th episodes date back again to the 1950s. The tradition for television is when you hit the "you made it" spot in television world. We are very proud to hit this accomplishment and us caring about tradition here at SCV Chat. We thought it'd be appropriate to celebrate the 100th episode of SCV Chat, October 17th. More information is coming, but let me go ahead and hint. We have a celebrity guest appearing on that show. It will be probably the biggest episode, not probably, the biggest episode of SCV Chat. So our 100th episode is coming October 17th. More information will be coming very soon. We are having a Mr. Conway Tweety knock-offer dub his lines for a special trailer for this episode. This will probably be the most promoted episode of SCV Chat other than probably our Constitution Day episodes. But yes, everybody who had called it, everybody who texted me begging me for an answer, and everybody who texted me with 100th episode, ? Yes, the milestone is finally here. We have reached our 100th episode. So, without further ado, I'm going to hit one more Pop-Tart break, and I'm going to give it away to our guest. Jude, you have more time than what it says on the screen. Do not worry. He's still looking for where it says that on the screen. Gotta mess with him a bit. But yeah, so that is a very important day, October 17th. The biggest episode of SCV Chat ever will premiere on your YouTube and Facebook. Conway Twitty. No, not the real Conway Twitty. It's a joke. For most people who don't know, a lot of people have called my father once he did the Elm Springs Museum video, the on Way Twitty the SCV. I basically bribed him into doing the special trailer that will announce the special guest for the October 17th episode of SCV Chat, the 100th episode. So I want to thank you guys. Make sure to share this episode. Also, make sure to support. Let me get up. Yep, there it is. Tonight's Pop-Tart Break sponsor, past Commander-in-Chief Larry McClooney Jr. Our past Commander-in-Chief has wrote many great books. One of the few books on the Yazoo Pass, Vicksburg, a book on Vicksburg, and In General Beauregard's Defense, a book that lays out like a court case in defense of General Beauregard. General Beauregard has been under scrutiny for a number of years, and our past Commander-in-Chief, Larry McClooney, finally said that he was going to defend him. And he brought off all countless information, countless stories, and presented them in this book. It is a great, fantastic read, and if you need any more to know anything more about it, please check out our episode on In General Beauregard's Defense on SCV Chat. So please make sure you support our sponsor, LarryMcClooney.com. And without further ado, it is time for our Pop-Tart break. And then we will introduce to y'all the special guest of the evening, Jude, across Dixie.
My dad told me he always had a kinship to the battle flag. Always growing up, he knew there was something there, but he couldn't put it together. I called my 97-year-old grandmother, and I asked her, do we have any soldiers in the family? I gave her 3 descriptions. Verde, which means green, for modern-day soldier. Blue, azul, or gris, means gray. And she said, mijo, which means my son in Spanish, is gris. It was gray. My great-great-grandfather was named Andres Torres Rodriguez. He was born in Mexico. He was a laborer. And he was in 8th Texas Infantry, and his unit later on got incorporated to the Texas 33rd Cavalry under Santos Benavides, who was the highest Mexican-American Confederate officer. He was a colonel. There was over 13,000 Hispanic soldiers throughout the Confederate States, but out of those 13,000 were 2,500 Tejanos. And it's 2 words combined. Texas in Spanish is Tejas. Mexican in Spanish, Mexicano. You combine both words, Tejano. They contributed a lot for Southern independence. I think that they deserve respect, honor, and dignity under the Confederate flag that they fought for. There was people of color, Mexican people, and other Hispanics, and other people of color that fought in this war. Everyone's reason was different, but primarily they fought in this war for their independence and to protect their homeland. I joined the SCV because I'm extremely proud of my Confederate heritage. I have Confederate DNA. I just want to ensure that the present generation and future generations know and never forget the contributions of Hispanics in the War of Northern Aggression. I am Richard Luna Garcia, the great-great-grandson of Private Andres Torres Rodriguez, a Tejano Confederate soldier.
All right, and now the moment we've all been waiting for. He is a representative of Monuments Across Dixie in Georgia, and he is a member of the General Willam J. Hardee Camp, 1397. Without any more interruptions, I introduce to you Jude across Dixie.
So what did you want me to name myself, Moose?
Your name, maybe? But then again, I can't judge much. I'm simply just known as Moose these days. So I guess I shouldn't be the one talking on that subject.
Exactly. Well, before I get started, I want everyone to look at my shirt. Have you not noticed this whole time, Moose?
No,
I've been real on this whole time, Moose.
oh gosh, I haven't noticed it the whole daggum time. That's amazing. Oh, it's fantastic. Oh,
I will say these shirts have been a wonderful marketing tool because I wear this a lot of places, and a lot of people ask me, "So what is Moose Mania?" And then I explain SCV chat, and it's wonderful. It's great.
it's some guy that somehow got named Moose. We still can't explain it much, really. The story of how I became Moose is still a secret, and will be a secret until the last episode of SCV chat. So there's some no light at the end of that tunnel for y'all. But yep, nope. Happy to have Jude on. Again, he's one of the few people we're ever going to have on that's going to talk about his own camp's news. So, and then he's going to talk about Monuments Across Dixie. He's got some great stuff lined up for y'all. So, again, Jude, take it away.
Nice. The first thing I want to say before I get into most of the things, I received some wonderful news yesterday, and I was very excited to share it. So, Moose, I know you've been to Stone Mountain when you came for the reunion, right?
Yes.
Okay, so anyone who's been to Stone Mountain or knows what Stone Mountain is, you guys are going to like this. So I am the Georgia representative for Monuments Across Dixie, and every year up until COVID hit, we held our Confederate Memorial Day service at Stone Mountain. And then when COVID hit for 2 years, they wouldn't let us have it because of COVID. But then we ended up having it last year, and there was a group who came out and they wanted to protest. And they did. They came out and protested, did what they did. Rumor is around Georgia that group is actually under investigation for some stuff. So we'll see what happens with that. But I received news last night that Georgia has officially scheduled the next reunion at Stone Mountain with no issue and no problems. We're going to be right there at the base of the mountain with the little water thing and the little fountain. And it's great. If you haven't seen the footage from this year's Stone Mountain reunion, go to Monuments Across Dixie and find it. We've got reels of it. There's pictures of it. I've taken video of like the protesters. I did a live there. So it's really worth seeing, especially if you just want to know what we're doing in Georgia. So Christian Lee, I love you. I've been on ACG chat before.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and get started. So I am from the Willam J. Hardee Camp. Our camp co-hosted the reunion this year, and on behalf of our commander, he just wanted to say thank you to anyone who came out. For him, it was a huge deal. Commander Wayne Willingham, just being able to host a reunion really meant a lot to him, and he's really happy about it. It's one of those like once in a lifetime things. I mean, how many people can say they've hosted an SCV reunion? So he was really happy with it, really happy with how it turned out, and wanted to thank anyone who came and let you know you're welcome here in Georgia again. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what we're going to do with our portion of the reunion money. I talked to Moose a little bit about this earlier. So the Willam Hardee Camp, let me tell you how it came about. So we are in Dallas, Georgia, not Dallas, Texas, Dallas, Georgia. It's a very small town about an hour west of Atlanta. If you want to know where it is, just imagine Atlanta and then put us in the middle of Atlanta in Alabama. That's where we are. So basically what happened in Dallas is that Devil Sherman was trying to get to Atlanta. So he tried to come through Dallas. It did not work out for him. There was 3 major battles that took place: the Battle of Dallas, the Battle of New Hope, and the Battle of Pickett's Mill. A lot of you have probably heard of that one. We fought him back. It was not a Union victory. Sherman decided he's going to go around Dallas and go to Kennesaw Mountain, which is, most of you have heard of that, and you know where that took place. Well, our camp has been blessed enough to own a church. It's the Battle of New Hope Church. To own a little church, it's about 8 pews in. You walk in, and there's 8 pews on each side. And there were 2 sets of Confederate dug trenches. And we own a little bit of property across the street that was also the battlefield. So we're very blessed to have that. So a little bit about what we're going to do with the reunion money. We're going to put some of that in savings for repairs and upkeep, because this stuff is history. I mean, this stuff has been around for a long time. And, if something were to happen, like the roof cave in, I mean, we could lose some windows or something that's been there forever. So we want to have a little bit of money set aside just for emergencies, just in case anything happens. Eventually, we're going to try to turn into a little museum of the Confederate history in Dallas, because there's a lot of it. Dallas, Georgia. Again, I have to specify. So that's something we're going to do with the money. And because we are the Willam Hardee Camp, there is a monument. I'm not sure exactly where it is, but there's a monument to Hardee somewhere in South Alabama. It was not vandalized. Let me put that out there first. It was not vandalized, but it hasn't been upkept. It hasn't really been cleaned. We're going to pay someone to come out and clean it, make it look nice to honor General Hardee. So we have a couple of things that we want to do with our money. Oh, before I do that, Moose, do you have the flyer of the show?
Yes, I do.
Throw that up there if you would. So we have a member of our camp who is a musician. He plays in the Band of Brothers from Dallas, Georgia. So he's reached out to this other band, the Servers, who are pretty decently big bluegrass gospel group. So on October the 8th, between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. at the property, at the church I was just telling you about, with the Confederate drug trenches, these two bands are going to be coming and playing on our property. It's $10 to get in, and all the money is going to the camp. And children under 12 get in free because we want them to experience this. Children are important. They're our future. The Bible talks a lot about them. So they get in for free. I'm going to be helping out. If you show up, I'm going to be parking cars or helping direct traffic. So I'll be there. But yeah, so that's what we're going to do. And that's a great way for us to do a couple things. For one, it's a great way to make money. Camps need money. And I'm going to explain why we need money, but it's a great way to make money. It's a great way to connect with the community. Anyone that loves, Southern bluegrass or gospel bluegrass or just likes these groups in general will come out and see them. So that's a great way to connect. And they come out and there's a battle flag flying like right across the street on the little property we own. And they'll get to meet the camp. They'll get to meet the commander. And hopefully we'll get a few members out of it. And if nothing else, they learned about the property. And when we have living histories or relic displays or anything we've got going on, they might be like, hey, let's go back to that place that had the concert. We're going to try to do a couple of those every so often. Right now, this is our first one. So pray for us. And maybe I'll come back on and tell you how it went. But we're very excited. It's going to be great. Now, I want to move on to some of the ideas we have because we will have a little bit of money left over from the reunion. And we're going to make some money from the show. And we are excited about that. We actually there's two projects we're considering doing. We're trying to figure out which ones we're going to do. I'll give you the second one first. Well, no, I'll give it to you in order. So some of you may know there was a monument in Georgia known as the Lion of Atlanta. I don't have all the details on it. I bet you Vinny has a lot more details than I do. But it was in the cemetery in Atlanta. What it was a tombstone, really. We call it a monument. It really was a tombstone for, I think, 4,000 plus unknown Confederate soldiers. And it stood there for years and years and years. And I'll get into this more when we get into the monuments across Dixie stuff. But it kept getting vandalized, of course. The state, and it's in Atlanta. So, of course, the city didn't put any security over it, all this stuff. Someone took a sledgehammer to it once. It's been spray painted. Someone poured bleach on it, trying to destroy it. Eventually, and me and Vinny found this out, and this is one of the things you will be able to do and we'll teach you how to do if you want to get involved in monuments across Dixie and maybe represent your place. Me and Vinny went on a little recon mission to figure out, where is the monument? Because they took it away. It stood in that cemetery for years, and they took it away. So me and Vinny's like, we got to figure out where it is. Vinny actually found most of the information. Turns out the cemetery did put it into storage, saying because they couldn't afford to pay for protection and security. That was it. They didn't say it was too offensive or whatever. They said we can't pay for security, so we're putting it away. We might never see that again. We may never see the Lion of Atlanta again. Or, one thing, don't lose hope, because we can overtake these things. Like whoever makes the decision to put the Lion of Atlanta away, eventually, an SCV member could run. Maybe someone who's nice with the town could run, and we could get it back out. We have to take these powers back. I'll show you this story real quick. I'll get back onto that. There's a Confederate Avenue in Dallas, and someone was trying to change in Dallas, Georgia, and someone was trying to change it. Our commander called the mayor, and he was like, "Yeah, no, we're not going to change it. I hate cancel culture. It's not happening. I'm not changing Confederate Avenue." We need more people like that in leadership. It's great being in leadership in the SCV. You get to get a lot done, but we need, I don't hate to say it, it's the honest truth. We are in enemy territory. Like, we need to take back some of these political positions. Look at what's going on in Richmond. That shouldn't be happening in Richmond. It's like Moose said. Who's going to get mad that you're giving him a Confederate monument? Like, It's ridiculous. So we need to take back some of this stuff. So run for mayor, run for positions that controls this kind of stuff. What really we need to do is get someone in control of that cemetery and put the monument back up. Regardless of that, back to my point. So one of the things we're trying to do at our camp is we own the church right here, and it's at a crossroads. And across from the church is a cemetery. Now, during the battle, the Confederates made the decision to not dig trenches in the cemetery. It wasn't a great plan tactically, but they decided that's where our relatives, that's where our ancestors are buried. We're not digging up those graves. And lo and behold, they won that battle amazingly. One Union soldier said it reminded them that God was still there and maybe he wasn't on their side because they just got whooped. And they didn't even dig the trenches. And we do have a monument to it. I'll show it to you guys later. We do honor the Union soldiers who fought and died there. We're not, jerks. We do honor them as well. And a lot of them are buried in that same cemetery that they didn't dig the trenches in. We took some of the bodies that never got claimed are buried there. But also buried there are a lot of unknown Confederate dead. There are Confederates who came in from other places. The ones who died, who was from the town, they knew who they were. But there's some who came from other states. There was a lot of Kentuckians there. Some of them who came from other states, they never got claimed. No one really knew, and they got put in the unknown section. So let me screen share this. Probably should have done this a while ago. Share screen. I'm new to this, by the way, guys. I am learning. So as you guys, and you should be, is it up? Yeah. That's the line of Atlanta that was in the cemetery. As you can see, it says unknown Confederate graves, unknown Confederate dead. It wasn't meant to be a monument. It was meant to be a tombstone, but it is a monument. It got destroyed. That's the monument or the tombstone that got put away. So what we at the Willam Hardee Camp would like to do is in that cemetery that I just got done talking about, where they're all Union dead, where they wouldn't dig in the trenches, there's an unknown Confederate dead section. We want to work out something with the town of Dallas to maybe give us a plot of land just big enough and right there in the little Confederate section. And it's possible. It's very possible because they let us fly a battle flag. So it's very possible. And if they can deed us the land, we'll pay for it. We'll do what we got to do. If they give us the land, then we're going to start working and we're going to make a replica of the Lion of Atlanta. You can do that at monuments across Dixie. If you have enough pictures, ideally, if you have like blueprints and stuff, and I haven't done my job, honestly, that good. Georgia's a big state. But if you are representative for monuments across Dixie, what you need to do is go to these monuments and get as many pictures as you can, get measurements, and those measurements to the Lion of Atlanta. That's one's going to be easy. But the more information we have about this, we can recreate it. Ooh, I can't wait to talk about the infill thing. Anyways, so we want to get a replica made of that Lion of Atlanta and put it in Dallas, Georgia, on the unknown dead section. And if they won't deed us the land, if they will not give us the land, we're going to say, well, what if we have a contract? We buy the monument. You let us put on the land. If there's anything, any controversy, anything, give it back to us. We'll take it back. We'll take it off the land. We'll try that, and maybe that'll work. If not, I don't know. So that's one of the things we're thinking about doing with our money. And I'm going to get into one of the greatest fundraiser things for this. So boom, there we go. It's not share anymore. The second idea we have that we might do with our money is, oh, I got to close that out. There we go. So the second thing we're thinking about doing with our money, I shared this with Moose earlier, and he said he really liked the idea. So that makes me feel pretty good about it. Boom. All right, and you guys should be able to see that.
I think you're going with a great idea.
There we go. What? Yep, it is what we were talking about. So on the property where we own the church and where there are trenches, remember in this cemetery, there's no trenches. They wouldn't dig them. But next to the church is like right here, right beside them are two sets of Confederate dug trenches. That is a monument that my camp has owned since 2012. They put it up, and on that monument, if you're looking at it, on the right-hand side, it lists the known Confederate dead and the known Union dead, and it honors them both. On the other side, it tells about the battle and tells you what happened, and on the back, it just says that we put it up and who all put it up. And that's a really nice base, and we're going to come back to this in a minute. It's made of Georgia granite, all that stuff. But if you notice, there's something missing from it, Moose. What's missing from the monument?
Looks like there's something that needs to go on top.
Exactly. There's no statue on the monument. Now, in the Battle of New Hope Church, the Confederates contributed the victory to their artillerymen. They thought that that's really what won it. There was a big thunderstorm, and people wrote, during the battle, people who participated in the actual battle wrote that it was hard to tell what was the sound of cannon fire and what was the sound of thunder or lightning and all that. But artillery was a big part of that battle. The Confederates really contributed that to them winning. So we're wanting to put, if we don't do the Lie of Atlanta, which if we do, we're still going to do this one, even if we do the Lie of Atlanta. But if we can't do it immediately, this is what we're going to focus on instead. We want to put a statue of an artillery officer on top of that, bronze, more than likely if we can get it. So instead of them holding the musket, just be a soldier, but dressed in an artillery uniform instead of a regular private's uniform. Instead of holding a musket, he would be holding the cannon swab. And that's pretty unique. Moose said he's never seen one like that. I've never seen one like that. So we're going to try to do that. So that's what we're doing at our camp. We're really excited about it. So these are the kind of things that all of our camps need to be doing. Like we all need to be working on stuff like this. One thing I want to say, and I have personally gotten and raised $400. There's a lot of dreams, but we need to start just buying land. As the camp, just buying plots of land. So we're thinking about just all over Paulding County. That's where Dallas is located. Buying little 1 acres or half acres, and we'll do something with it eventually. You say, well, what are we going to do? That's just a waste of space. I mean, it might take you a year to put a flagpole on it. Put a flagpole on it. 10 years down the road, maybe your camp can put a monument on it. Before I die, and a little background about me. My Confederate ancestor was born in 1830. And the town of Dallas was founded in 1854. So my family is one of the founding members of Dallas. So it's like divinely written that I don't get to leave. And I don't want to. I love it here. I love my home. And unless God calls me to another place, I will stay and live in Dallas my whole life. Again, God's will is the only thing that can move me from here. So it is my goal that before I die, there is a monument with a base, maybe like that. But it's to Jefferson Davis. Because I love Jefferson Davis. I respect the man. I think he's a wonderful man. I love Volvar, his last home, Mississippi. And what I want it to be is the one in New Orleans, just a statue at least, maybe a base like this and a statue in New Orleans. That's always my favorite one, the one that got taken down. It's the one that's got the angel on the top and all that. That would look beautiful on a base like this on top, talking about Jefferson Davis. That's something I want to do. And if I'm 40 or 60 or 70 and it goes up, I'm still going to be happy. So that's what's going on in Georgia. That's what's going on in my camp. I'm going to move on to some monuments across Dixie stuff, unless Moose or anyone wants to talk more about that.
Well, we have a quick question. My father wants to know how tall is the base.
I don't know. I can find out and get you the information, but I don't know. They erected it before I was a part of the camp. I don't really know. I wasn't involved in it going up, but I can find out for you, definitely. Moose, thank you for taking that down.
You're welcome.
Yes. Yeah, it is. And that's why we're trying to do this show, because we want to bring people to the camp. And here's the thing that works about it. And again, I said this, we are in enemy territory, like it or not. The population does not consider Georgia or Tennessee part of the Confederate States of America. They consider it part of the United States of America. So not everything we do to draw people in has to be super flashy. And some people might think that's hiding the heritage or not being bold and open about it. No, it's just a bluegrass gospel singing will draw people in no matter what. You don't have to love history or love the heritage. You just have to love bluegrass and love gospel. You just want something to do. And then we convince them then. Bring them to us, and then we convince them then. They see how nice we are. They see how much they enjoy it. Hey, you had a good time? Come out to our Living History next month. Yeah, there'll be musket fire reenactments. We have someone from Kennesaw who brings a cannon, and we fire it. Come on out. It'd be great for the kids. So, yes, getting the community involved and getting them there. It's like that fireman thing you guys have been talking about. Getting the community involved is amazing. How can SCV camps invest in land? I mean, buy it, raise money and buy it. Maybe Moose knows more about this. That's all I know is just raise money and purchase it. We're a nonprofit, so that helps a lot. Oh, Moose left. Okay. Oh, he's back.
My allergies are getting me.
But yeah, I don't really know a lot about it. Well, I'll give you different ways. Now we're getting into the Monuments Across Dixie thing. So we'll talk about fundraisers thing then. So before I start, on behalf of Monuments Across Dixie, I would like to make a formal statement that the infill monument was not only shocking, but also devastating and awful. We take this as a big disrespect, and we are looking for anyone in the North Carolina area that would like to recreate that monument. If you have pictures, we would love to work with you and put it back up, or make a well, we can't put it back up because they destroyed it, but make a replica of it and put it back up in that town. So if you're in the North Carolina area, especially infill, please contact Monuments Across Dixie. Thank you. Back to other stuff. But yeah, when you were talking about that earlier, I was like, oh yeah, we're pretty mad about that. Hence the name, Monuments Across Dixie. So let me go into a little bit of our history. A lot of people don't know what Monuments Across Dixie is, because it started as one thing and evolved into a thing that still contains that thing is now another thing. So Monuments Across Dixie started in 2018 by our founder in Selma, Alabama. And basically what happened is he saw monuments getting torn down because his ancestor was a Confederate soldier, and it made him mad. He wanted his son to be able to see him one day. He wanted the heritage to continue. He was mad about it. He was angry. It frustrated him. And he just said to himself one day, what good is being mad doing me? Nothing is happening. I'm just sitting here being mad about it. So he decided to start a monument company and his slogan was, for every one they take down, we put 3 up in its place. And that was the whole goal, is if you take one monument down, you're going to get 3. You might just want to leave the first one up. So he started a company. He had amazing success with it. He sells a lot of things. It's not just monuments. He'll sell tombstones. We were actually able to, last year, I had the privilege of, in my car, going to the headquarters in Selma, Alabama, and picking up a headstone for a Black Confederate soldier who laid in an unknown grave up until last year. A member of the Arkansas SCV found his grave. They did the research. And the city apparently fought them on it and didn't want to admit it. But they're like, no, we have all the records. It's proof. There's nothing you can do. So Monuments Across Dixie provided the headstone. I put it in my car. I took it to New Orleans. It sat in New Orleans until the end of reunion. Then the Arkansas people put it in their car, and it's up in a graveyard in Arkansas. So that's amazing. So that's some of the stuff we do. But he wanted to do stuff like that. So if we went back to the monument, which I'm going to go back to a real quick move. So the monument that we have. Oh, no. Yeah, the monument that we have at our house. So his whole thing was monuments work as building blocks. A lot of people don't know that. They work kind of as building blocks. So you can see the monument there. If you really look at it, there's 3 layers to it. There's the bottom layer where the words are, and then the low top layer. And his thing was just get the bare basics. And that's what we did with this one. We got the base. Doesn't matter we don't have the statue. We've got the base. So the first step, get the land. That's the very first step, is get the land. Then get something on there. Make it a flagpole, something little. Get a square granite box that says whatever you want it to say and build upon it. And you can build it up later and make it something big, but just have something. So that was his main thing. And that's what Monuments Across Dixie was. We put up monuments. We partnered with people. That's what we did. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with the Daily Wire. Are you familiar with the Daily Wire much?
Yes.
Okay. So Monuments Across Dixie is now becoming what the Daily Wire is becoming. So the Daily Wire, when they started, they were just this, they just wanted to be a company that put on Republican conservative talk shows. I actually want to recommend everyone go watch Matt Walsh. I watched him for a long time, and he, in a recent episode, recommended some books about Stonewall Jackson that were wonderful books, actually. He was like, yeah, you think you know, a lot of people think they know about Stonewall Jackson. They don't know this man at all. They need to read these books. And I was very impressed by that. Now, I don't think them as an organization really supports our heritage, but he appreciated that book, and he made a point to mention on his show, the Matt Walsh Show, and I was like, yes. But anyways, Monuments Across Dixie, we didn't set out to do this, but we'll kind of do what they're doing. So what happened with the Daily Wire is they started out just being a show, being a channel with these Republican and conservative shows on it. Well, then they had some advertisements drop them. Monuments Across Dixie is part of the reason that the Alabama Tennessee Division were able to erect monuments in honor of Forrest. Since we're talking about it, and you ruin all my stuff. Nah, you don't ruin my stuff. Thank you, Carl. I love you. I gotta open it. But yeah, we did help do a lot of stuff in Tennessee. And let me share this real quick since we're talking about it.
It's a beautiful monument too. I wasn't there for the dedication ceremony, sadly, but when of course General Forrest was getting reinterred or reburied at Elm Springs, he went to the boyhood home for a bit. First time I've ever been, and I made a point to stop by that monument because it's first I was very impressed to see two divisions work together to get this up. That sparked my interest a lot in it, and then it was just a beautiful monument. Period. Extremely beautiful. Loved it. Took pictures beside it. I wish I was free that week to go see it being dedicated and be there at the event. Those are history moments that you don't get to repeat. So it is a beautiful monument. Great. Jude's got a picture of it. I'm pretty sure that's Vinny in the picture.
That is Vinny. That was actually at the funeral for his final reinterment. We went to the boyhood home after the service and we took that picture. Yeah, we provided that statue. We did not provide the base, but we did provide the statue. I'm going to tell you about that in a second. Will you finish, Moose? I didn't want to cut you off.
No. Go ahead.
But look at that monument. So look, it's a little square at the bottom, another square. Very simple. Anyone can do that. Get the land. Then start building piece by piece. So let me tell you about the statue. Most of you, unless you've seen a Monuments Across Dixie monument, you've never seen that statue. Here's the great cool thing about Monuments Across Dixie. Our founder, he was so mad about what was going on. He created the company, but he wanted the statue. They had a picture of his ancestor that fought. So he made the statue. The face is his ancestor. And there was like 50 of those all across the Confederacy. And we can do that with your ancestor. If you have an ancestor and you have a photo of them, we can make a statue where they have their face, or they can have your face. You can do all that kind of stuff. So that's the thing. Monuments Across Dixie makes a lot of different monuments. We will make Robert E. Lee heroes. We'll make custom ones. But our signature monument, the signature Monuments Across Dixie statue, is that one right there. And that monument is not actually to General Forrest himself. It is to the men who served with him. And to me, I love that. I think that's very beautiful. That shows how humbling we are in the SCV. Is we don't just want to honor the higher ups. We want to honor the everyday man, the men who didn't come home. So I love that. I'm going to stop sharing that. But that is one of the things we put up. I love that monument. Let's see. Yeah. So the Daily Wire. So basically, the Daily Wire got mad that a bunch of sponsors quit, and they decided, well, it was a razors. Gillette razors quit sponsoring Daily Wire because they're Republican, they're terrorists, all that stuff. So he got mad. The owner, Jeremy, got mad. Kind of like Monuments Across Dixie got mad. And Jeremy decided, I'm going to start my own razor company. I'm going to do it. Jeremy's Razors. Next paycheck, when I have the money, I'm going to get a subscription and start using Jeremy Razors. And then he decided, you know what? Netflix is putting a lot of pedo type stuff on their thing. They're doing a lot of shows that just aren't appropriate for children. We're going to start our own streaming service with stuff that's clean, that holds conservative values. And we're going to start doing our own kids stuff. We're going to start making our own t-shirts. We're going to start making our own cups. Crowder's been making cups for a long time. And Monuments Across Dixie has figured out that that's what we need to do. We need to start making our own stuff. Daily Wire realize that they have enough of an audience, enough of a fan base, enough of backing that they can make it, even if they only sell it to their own people, which they won't, it will expand. If they only sell it to their own people, they can maintain and eventually get to the point where people are buying Jeremy razors just because it's a cool razor. They don't care that it's a conservative company. They didn't even know it was a conservative company. They probably wouldn't buy it if they knew. And that's kind of what we're doing with Monuments Across Dixie. So I'm not going to talk about the Tejanos monument much because Christian covered that, but we are helping them with that. And I'll get into different things like that. But like the Moose Mania shirt, I love this because, again, I've had people ask me about it. The second it went on sale, I bought it. And I've been able to promote the SCV and promote SCV chat with it because people want to know, what is Moose Mania? Who are the Tejanos? he was saying Christian doesn't know anything about any of this because these are my ideas. I have fell in love with the Tejanos, studying them. This monument has really inspired me. So there's a new line of shirts I want to suggest to our leadership at Monuments Across Dixie. And again, Christian, if you're hearing this for the first time, I hope you like it. Tell me if you don't. It's shirts, and it says, "Who are the Tejanos?" And it looks fashionable. One of the things our founder wants to do is not make stuff that's already made. So I came to him with some suggestions, like, "Oh, look at all these cool shirt designs I made with monuments on blah." He's like, "Yeah, we can't do that. The SCV does that." And I was like, "So they were my thing. It's not about them minding. It's not a niche that needs to be filled. If you want a shirt with a monument on it, you can get one from the SCV. Like, it's not hard to find a shirt with a Robert E. Lee monument on it." He's like, "We don't need to make those." He's like, "We need to make trendy shirts that people can wear to school. That's not like super like red flag with like a Confederate flag on it, but something like, who are the Tejanos?" And people will ask, "Well, who are the Tejanos?" Glad you asked. Let me tell you who the Tejanos are. I got another one because I like this, kind of like a war cry. It's just big, bold letters all up the shirt. "The Tejanos" with exclamation points. I'd wear it. So lines of shirts, stuff like that. And to go on, and one of the reasons Monuments Across Dixie want to do this is because we need to quit giving money to people who hate us. I love that you did that thing earlier with the flags. I brought this even before you did that. This is a flag I bought at Reunion to put on some graves, some Confederate graves. But I bought it from one of our members, one of our people. I gave my money to him instead of some random company in China. And that's the thing. Quit giving money to people who hate you. I'm not going to go on big spill about this, but secondvote.com, it ranks what companies believe in. And I want there to be a Confederate version. I want there to be an app or website where you type in Nike, and you know exactly how Nike feels about the Confederacy and our heritage. Jack Daniels, you type it in. They have a really low score because Jack Daniels does. They fired someone for trying to keep Confederate in a name. Yeah, I don't know all the details. Some Texas boys told me about it, but apparently they fired someone for trying to defend Confederate heritage, which is funny because Jack Daniels has two brothers that died fighting for the Confederacy. I'm going to get off that rant because I'll go on it. But his thing, I don't drink Jack Daniels bourbon anymore because I know that. So I don't drink it. You know what I will drink? And this is something Larry McClooney said when he was commander-in-chief. He was talking to me about this. One of the things apparently they're trying to do at Elm Springs is grow corn. And they want to take that corn and sell it to some place with a mass whiskey. And it will be Elm Springs whiskey, not the Sons of Confederate Veterans, just Elm Springs whiskey is made with corn grown from Elm Springs. I told him, if they make that happen, that is the only bourbon I will drink, that I will pay for it. I mean, if someone else gives me bourbon, I'll drink it, but that's the only bourbon I will pay for is the Elm Springs bourbon. And that's what we need to do. Quit giving money to people like Jack Daniels, who hates us, who will fire you if you support them, and give it to Elm Springs. Give it to the local flag makers. Give it to Moose Mania, you know. And that's what we want to do at Monuments Across Dixie. So I talked about the shirts. One of the very last things I'll talk about. I wish I had some pictures of this. So I don't know how many of you know, but in, I believe it's South Carolina, there was a monument called the Fame Monument. And it was in this beautiful spot right in front of a church. If anyone can get a picture of it and throw it up, that'd be wonderful. But there was this Fame Monument, and the city got mad about it. It was offensive. So they made them move it. Luckily, I think it was, don't quote me on this. If you guys have the information, please post in the chat. I think it was the UDC. They ended up obtaining the rights to the monument, but they didn't have no money. You know, you guys pray for the UDC. Send the money. Send all these organization money. They didn't have no money to do anything with it. So they did a bunch of different fundraising stuff where they actually partnered with Monuments Across Dixie. And I love this idea. This is how we want to raise money for the Lion of Atlanta. If that doesn't work, this is how we want to raise money for the artillery soldier. This group in South Carolina that wanted to relocate this monument, and you'll understand what I'm talking about, hopefully, when I show it to you, partnered with us and made these little tabletop monuments. This is the monument that was relocated. Look at that. It doesn't have the writing on it because it was way too much. You wouldn't be able to do it with the writing. But you can take them and get them engraved. I got one of these for my friend for his birthday, and he had the lyrics to Dixieland engraved on it. You can get your ancestor engraved on it. You can get the actual words that's on the monument engraved on it, or you can just leave it like I left mine, because I'm not going to spend money on that because I don't have a lot of extra money. But basically what it was is they needed to raise money to put this monument on a place where it was safe, that they owned it. One of the ways they did it is we got these monuments made. We sold them, and that helped a lot. Now, it wasn't the only thing that got them there, but it really helped. And here's the thing. Here's what's beautiful about it. A lot of people have these. I know Cousin Vinny has sent them out. I have them. I buy them for people. My camp had bought them. A lot of people put like little hangers on them and making Christmas ornaments. You can use them at the end of books. You can put this in your office space. I mean, these are just great things. And our founder's idea when he came up with this is you can make your own Confederate Avenue. So here's the thing. Here's the way the founder put it. Say they wanted to relocate this monument. They started selling these. Say they failed. Say they didn't get the money, which they did. Say they didn't get the money. What's the worst that happened? A bunch of people now have little Confederate monuments at their house. Like, it's a win-win. So we want to make little line of Atlantas. If we get all this going and it is decided that, yes, we can recreate the line of Atlanta, we want to get little line of Atlantas like this. And we want to sell them. I mean, we'll raise money like through the concerts we're doing, through donations, through other things. But that's going to be a great way to raise money. Because he was thinking, this is in South Carolina. I've never got to see it. It's in my house. I would love to put this next to a line of Atlanta. I know there's Robert E. Lee. I think it's in one of the Carolinas. I could be incorrect. The Lee rides again. What state is that? Do you know?
Oh, yeah, Virginia.
So that is in Virginia.
Richmond one.
That's not the Monument Avenue one, is it?
No, no. Wait. Yes, yes, it is. My bad.
That's why it's taking. That's hard to do it. Okay, I thought it was a different one. So we've been kind of talking about trying to get with that, but that one is so intricate, it's a little bit harder to do. But I mean, think about this: you could have the Robert E. Lee Monument that was at Lee Circle in your house right now. The only thing stopping us is just us getting there and doing it. We just gotta do it. And it's just like our founder did, just like the founder of Monuments Across Dixie. He quit. He just stopped sitting around being mad and did something. He started a company, and that's a lot. He doesn't make very much money. He literally, any money he makes, he revests back into it. He actually loses money. So that's what we're doing with Monuments Across Dixie. If you want to get involved and be a representative like I am, what I do, I mainly just do posts. I'll write posts on like Jefferson Davis's birthday, and I'll write posts, or I'll go to these events. So you go to the events, you film, you take specs. Oh, sponsors, partner. Christian's a big part of Monuments Across Dixie. If you want to explain that, I don't handle a lot of that. So I didn't know we charged. Okay. You can be a representative without paying. In fact, you kind of get paid. I got one of these for free. Our founder paid for my gas to drive 2 hours from Dallas, Georgia to the new headquarters in Huntsville, Alabama, for our next announcement. So that kind of ends that. If you want to get involved in Monuments Across Dixie and be a representative for your state, there can be more than one. There can be 50 Virginia representatives. It doesn't matter. More than that. Contact Monuments Across Dixie. The last thing. So the founder did pay for me to drive 2 hours one way, 2 hours back to Huntsville, Alabama from Dallas, Georgia, because we have a really big announcement, and I want you guys to pay attention to this. If you want to share it, this would be the best time to share it, because we hear about monuments coming down all the time. We've heard about New Orleans coming down, the Lee Circle. We just heard about that infill thing. We heard about this having to be moved. It is awful what the media says, but you want to know what they won't tell you. What they won't tell you is that someone drove from Dallas, Georgia to Huntsville, Alabama to help the founder of a monument company who has put up at least 50 monuments in this year alone, I believe, to open and unbox. Is it there?
Yes.
Yeah. To open and unbox 11 residential size Stonewall Jackson monuments. It's not 11, it's 12. I'm so sorry. But we unboxed 12 of these. And if you go to Monuments Across Dixie, you can watch the videos of that. You can watch the reel. The reel is awesome. Please go watch the reel. And that's why I went. He paid for my gas. He paid for my food. So even though I don't get paid to be at Monuments Across Dixie, I got to do this. How many of you, show of hands in the chat, how many of you have ever gotten to open a box of 12 Stonewall Jackson monuments? Let me know when the chat pops up. So that was an honor for me. That was awesome. These are bronze. Let me show you the other one. And the reason I kept losing track of the number is because it was actually 15 originally, and he had dropped off 3 already, and those were just the ones that have yet to been picked up. So let me give you a little bit of, and let me show you some more of them. And I was there, and chances are the last time I saw them, which was a couple weeks ago, the last time I saw them will probably be the only time that many of them are all together again. So, I mean, that's why he wanted me to come out and capture it, because we wanted to share this with you. We wanted the people to know that, yeah, they're coming down on Monument Avenue. Yeah, they're coming down at Lee Circle. But guess what? We are putting them back up. They are coming back up, and they don't want to tell you that, and they're not going to tell you that. That's what Monuments Across Dixie is here for. That's what the SCV chat is here for, to show you those kind of things. Let me get this one pulled up. So let me tell you how this came about, this project, and this is something you can do at Monuments Across Dixie. If there's a lot of them together, and they are short. They are regimental size, only 4 foot, pure bronze. We do. Unless something has changed, so please don't quote me on that, founder. Please don't hate me. As far as I know, we have 2 left. $5,000, 2 left. Contact Monuments Across Dixie if interested. You can put those in public spaces. Moose's father, if you're watching, buy him that. That would be awesome. We have 2 left, as far as I know. They'll be back. We'll put them. Yeah, we'll gather them back together for the bicentennial. I like that. Anyway, so the reason these monuments even came about is because at the Virginia Military Institute, VMI, there was a Stonewall Jackson monument. Stonewall Jackson taught at that school. He was actually at that school, I believe, when he left and joined the war. And, you know, there's a lot about him that's there. I love Stonewall Jackson. I gave an entire talk to Christians Camp. If you ever want me to come do a talk on Stonewall Jackson religious beliefs, I will. I am a Christian. I love the Lord, and I love what our Confederate heritage stands for. And that's why I love Stonewall Jackson, because he's not only one of my military and historical heroes, he's one of my spiritual heroes. I mean, there are things about my faith that are stronger, that I know how to do better because of Stonewall Jackson. He's the one that taught me that you can pray and not be 100% focused on what you're doing. Because he got convicted because he's like, oh, I want to ride my horse and lead my men, but I also want to pray. And he's like, does it have to be to get on your knees? And he searched the scripture and was like, I don't find anywhere where it says that. So from that day forward, he started telling people, yeah, you can pray and do other things. Like, that's how that works. And that really resonated with me. So I drive and I'll pray. I'll pray for 15 minutes on my commute. I learned it from Stonewall. I'm actually getting my degree to be a college professor, and I was a student teacher in a class. I'm getting my degree in biblical theology and history. I'm going somewhere with this. I'm not bragging about myself. But I was a student teacher for one of my biblical theology classes, and I got to teach about prayer. And I brought up what Stonewall Jackson taught me. I taught them that. And the whole thing was, yeah, as a Christian, you can pray anytime. You can pray driving. Don't neglect prayer because you're busy, because Stonewall Jackson would have done that. So I got to introduce Stonewall Jackson into a college room setting. That's the kind of stuff we need to do. Anyways, let me get back to it. I'm getting on a tangent. So at VMI, Virginia Military Institute, there was this beautiful monument, Stonewall Jackson. And of course, it got too offensive. So they, better than the Enfield mayor, they did not destroy it. They did remove it. And I don't know exactly who gained ownership of it, but whoever gained ownership of it was able to put it back up. That monument did go back up. Oh, you didn't know that, Moose?
I had no idea. I thought it was still down, actually.
If you go a year ago, our Lee Jackson Day post Monuments Across Dixie was really centered around it. Yeah, it did go back up. Someone got a hold of it. I can't remember who. If you know in the chat, Vinny or somebody, put it in the chat. But that monument did go back up. But when it got relocated, similar to our founder, a bunch of alumni from the Virginia Military Institute, they got mad. They didn't like it. They went to school there. part of why they went with Stonewall. That was part of their school's heritage. That was part of their heritage, was the Stonewall Monument being there. So they got mad. So hey, Moose Across Dixie. So they contacted Monuments Across Dixie, and they worked out a deal. And they said, well, we want to do something. We want to put it back up. You know what? Give us 4-foot ones that we can put in our front yards. That's how serious we are. We don't care what we do. If we have to put them up in our front yards, we'll do it. And they did. And I got to go open 12 of them. And yeah, they're going in people's front yards. And they don't have to go in front yards. You can easily, if you get permits and you get everything you need, you can put them in a public space. So those are the kind of things that happen. The media is not going to tell you that all across the South, there were 13. Yeah, there were 13 monuments of Stonewall Jackson in people's front yards in response to one not being destroyed, but being relocated. That's how the Southern people feel about this. And that's a testament they will not tell you. That's why we're here to tell you about it. So again, we have 2 of those left. Yeah, if you want to get involved in Monuments Across Dixie, please let us know. I mean, we'll sell shirts for your camp. We want them to be cool and trendy. Again, like, who are the Tejanos? I would wear it. And if the founder approves it, yeah, well, I'm making it happen. I would love to have who are the Tejanos. I would wear it in Georgia. People are like, well, who are the Tejanos? And I tell them. If you want to make little monuments like this for your camp to raise a monument, you can. Or if you just want to go take pictures in your state and say, this is a monument, it might not be here one day. I got measurements if we have to redo it. Hey, this is an event, it's going on, put it on your show. So that's what we're doing at my camp. That's what we're doing at Monuments Across Dixie. We are helping put up the Tejano Monument, and that's all I got, Moose.
All right. Well, I hope y'all have enjoyed the show. 1 second. My phone is echoing there for a bit. But I hope you guys have enjoyed the show. Make sure.
Oh gosh, it's just me. Make sure to like and comment and share this show. And join us. Here we go.
I knew that was going to happen.
I was trying to go where you were going. I told them to make sure they like and comment and share the show and tune in.
But yes, make sure.
I don't know who that is, by the way. Someone else is on the Mad account now. It's not me anymore.
Okay, sure, whatever you say. Make sure you tune in Monday. We have a great talk plan. Carl Jones is going to be hosting. He has a guest author and professor, Mr. Ryan Walters. He will be talking about President Clover Cleveland. I'll get it out eventually. It's going to be a great one. I'm looking forward to it. I will be sitting back and enjoying myself. I'm going to put all the pressure on Carl. But again, thank you, Jude, for coming on. Please support Monuments Across Dixie. Please support all these camp events, all these reenactments, and make sure you support the people that support our Confederate heritage. Please remember, if you have a camp or division project that you would like to talk about live on Look Around the Confederation, please send an email to us at scvyouthoutreach@gmail.com. And also, please send all your news, pictures, short videos, and write-ups to scvyouthoutreach@gmail.com, and you'll be featured on the upcoming episode of Look Around the Confederation. Again, I want to thank you for coming on tonight. I don't think I have anything else to announce. Make sure you keep your nose on our page. More news will be coming out soon on our 100th episode of SCV Chat. If I was you, I might even tune in Monday to see if there's any news about the special guest. I would. But without further ado, again, Jude, thank you for coming on. Thank you, guys, chat heads, for tuning in. Without further ado, we will see y'all Monday. Stay Southern, my friends.